Boston, the city on a hill, the hub of the universe, the cradle of liberty. This is a city where our nation's history and its future share the same block, where tradition is respected and innovation is unleashed. Boston has always called to those unwilling to settle, to the dreamers and the doers, undaunted by precedent. It's in our DNA to do what has never been done. Let's run it back to 1770. British soldiers massacre 5 civilians outside the old State House. 3 years later, colonists turned the harbor into a teacup. By 1775, Boston had reached a boiling point. Everyday revolutionaries, from ministers and merchants to tavern owners and townsfolk, gathered in secret to criticize the crown, trading whispers and sowing the seeds of democracy. The stage is set for a midnight ride that will launch a revolution. A humble craftsman, a husband and father, the son of an immigrant by day, Paul Revere worked in his shop. By night, he plotted the path to freedom. On this very night, 250 years ago, British troops planned to execute a plot of their own to weed out the rebellion taking root in an unruly colony. They planned to arrest the voices of resistance, those brave enough to speak out against tyranny, and then seize the weapons hidden at Concord. Word reached the Patriots. 700 British soldiers were preparing to cross the Charles and march west overnight. But Boston was ready, and so was Revere, who set out under the cover of night. His mission was clear: notify those ready to fight for our freedom. The time had come. He knew there was a chance he wouldn't make it out of Boston. He could be captured or killed, so a signal was set. Lanterns hung in the steeple of the Old North Church to warn of the British forces' advance. One if by land, two if by sea. Twin flames flickered in the steeple of the Old North Church, 2 beacons burning bright against the encroaching darkness of night. The British would row across the Charles. The Patriots knew what was coming, and now they knew how. All that remained was to get the word out. His mission before him, Revere took to the water. How many patriots would he be able to reach? Would it make a difference? What's one more set of hands against an enemy's army? One more heart set on freedom under colonial rule? Revere didn't know, but he was going to find out. They would defend the people they loved with all that they had. Of that, he was sure. With the crown looming, Revere slipped across the harbor, rowed by 2 friends. The moon was almost full that night, but the harbor was dark. The British warship, the HMS Somerset, cast long shadows across the water. Revere and his crew rowed in silence. They completed their voyage undetected. Landing safely in Charlestown, Revere wasted no time borrowing a horse from a friend. He knew he was in for a long night ahead. But before he set off, he was warned. The British are on alert. Patrols had been spotted in the area, and there was a good chance they would stop him. Revere knew the stakes, for himself, for his family, for the freedom they all dreamed of. There would be no turning back. He saddled up and set off. Galloping through town after town on his journey toward Lexington, he roused Minutemen from their rest as he warned of British troops already in motion. The regulars are coming out! Revere made it to Lexington after midnight, spreading the word. The dream of freedom burning in his chest, he decided to go further to Concord. Before he arrived, British patrols intercepted him, his journey cut short. He was detained and questioned. But his fellow riders escaped and pressed on. With them rode the fate of the colonies. The clock was ticking. The British were coming. Militias were mobilizing. Just before dawn, British troops reached Lexington. Thanks to the light of the lanterns and the courage of Revere and his riders, the colonists met them, muskets in hand. The shot heard around the world. The revolution was unfurling. There was no stopping it now. More than 2 lanterns were illuminated that night. The fires of freedom blazed in every household and heart that heard the message of liberty. It spread through the strength of its sense. No one tells Boston how to take care of our own. We knew our fate was to be more than the subject of kings. But in Boston, we know that fate favors action, that the future takes shaping, that the land of the free will always be an ongoing project. We showed the world what 1,000 everyday revolutionaries could do at Bunker Hill. We pushed the British out of Boston and showed the world that those fighting for freedom will overcome any odds. And we never stopped fighting. We championed the end of slavery because this is the land of the free. We planted ourselves in front of bulldozers to keep our communities together. And we marched with Dr. King because we did not start a revolution to end up a nation divided.
When the fight is for freedom, when it's our friends and our families that are under attack, Boston will never back down. This is the city where freedom was born. This is a city that will defend it forever. In the 250 years since Revere's fateful ride, we have pushed our understanding of freedom in one direction alone: to be bigger and broader, to welcome more of us into the fold. We will always believe that leadership is about representation, not repression, that the people should be empowered, not silenced, and that freedom is a right, not a threat. Today, we honor the brave patriots who fought for these values, who lit the flame that continues to burn bright in Boston today. Today and forever, we follow in their footsteps, ready to rise to the moment and prove what is possible. We are the people of Boston. This is our story. We have never let anyone else write it. This is where heroes are born, movements are rooted, and history is made every day. From revolution to revolutionary, it all starts right here.